Hello everyone, we are from Group 4. In this session, we would like to present and practice webbox testing using JUnit. Before discussing JUnit testing in detail, it is imperative to understand what is unit testing, right? What is unit testing? Unit testing is a type of software testing where individual units or components of a software are tested. The purpose is to validate that each unit of the software code performs as expected. Unit testing is done during the development or coding phase of an application by the developers. There are two types of unit testing. First, webbox testing. It is a testing approach in which internal structure is known to the tester. It is mostly done by software developers. For example, by input to checks and verify loops. And the types of webbox testing are path testing, loop testing, and condition testing. And the next one is black box testing. It is a testing approach which is used to test the software without the knowledge of the internal structure of program or application. It is mostly done by software tester. For example, search something on Google by using keywords. And the types of black box testing are functional testing, non-functional testing, and regression testing.
And now we're gonna move to regression testing. What is regression testing? So, regression testing is defined as a type of software testing to confirm that a recent program or code change has not adversely affected existing features. Regression testing is nothing but a full or partial selection of already executed test cases which are executed to ensure existing functionalities work fine, and also to make sure that the new code changes should not have side effects on the existing functionalities. It ensures that the old code still works once the latest code changes are done. Moreover, regression testing is needed when a new feature is added to the software application and for defect fixing as well as performance issue fixing. In order to do regression testing process, we need to first debug the code to identify the bugs. Once the bugs are identified, required changes are made to fix it. Then the regression testing is done by selecting relevant test cases from the test suite that covers both modified and affected parts of code. And after we discuss about regression testing, now we're gonna talk about the testing framework that so important in regression testing, and that is JUnit. What is JUnit? So JUnit is a unit testing framework for the Java programming language that plays a big role in regression testing. JUnit is an open source framework that is used to write and run repeatable automated tests. And in the JUnit, it has a graphical user interface or GUI that making it possible to write and test source code quickly and easily. JUnit also allows the developer to incrementally build test suites to measure progress and detect unintended side effects. The simplicity that JUnit has makes it possible for the software developer to easily correct bugs as they are found. And why you need JUnit testing? First, because it finds bugs early in the code, which makes our code more reliable. The second is because JUnit is useful for developers who work in a test-driven environment. The third is because unit testing forces a developer to read code more than writing. And the last, you need JUnit testing because you develop more readable, reliable, and bug-free code which builds confidence during development.
Which is the kind of JUnit. So there are two kinds of JUnit, and these are JUnit 4 and JUnit 5. JUnit 5 is aimed to adapt Java 8 style of coding and to be more robust and flexible than JUnit 4. So there are some similarities and differences between JUnit 5 and JUnit 4. First, I will be explaining one similarity between JUnit 5 and JUnit 4. So when you are declaring a test methods in JUnit 4, you have to use annotation at test. So you have to write at test, and you also have to do the same thing in JUnit 5. So that's the similarity. And there are also some differences between JUnit 4 and JUnit 5. So the first difference is the architecture. So JUnit 4 has everything bundled into a single jar file. Meanwhile, JUnit 5 is composed of 3 sub-projects, and these are JUnit Platform, JUnit Jupyter, and JUnit Vantage. Another difference is the version of JDK. So when in JUnit 5, the JDK version has to be a Java with JDK minimum 8 or higher. Meanwhile, in JUnit 4, it only requires Java with JDK version 5 or higher. So those are some differences. The next part is to explain the installation of JUnit. So how can you install JUnit? So first, you have to download the latest version of JUnit, and this one refers to as the JUnit.zip. Then you have to install JUnit on your platform of choice. For example, when you are using Windows, you have to install JUnit on Windows. So to do this, you have to follow these steps. You have to unzip the JUnit.zip distribution file to a directory referred to as %simple, then JUnit underscore home, then %symbol. Another one, after that, you have to add JUnit to the class path. And to do this, you have to write set, then class path equal %symbol, then class path %symbol, then a semicolon %JUnit underscore home %, and then slash JUnit.jar. And after that, you have to unzip the $sign JUnit underscore home slash src.jar file, but this one is optional, so you can decide not to do it, not to unzip it or to zip it. After that, you have to test the installation by running the sample test distributed with JUnit. So you have to note that the sample tests are located in the installation directory directly, not the JUnit.jar file. Therefore, you have to make sure that the JUnit installation directory is on your class path. Then you have to simply type java space org.junit.runner.junit core space org.junit.test.all test, and all the tests should pass with an OK message. So if the test don't pass, you have to verify that JUnit.jar is in the class path. So that's the simple explanation on how to download and install JUnit in your laptop.
My name is Veronicha. Today I will present to you how to use the JUnit test. But for this explanation, I will use the JUnit 4. But before that, this is, as you can see, this is the sample that I have created. This is the sample of the Java, and then this is the test package to test the sample, source sample. So first, if you want to create a new project, you can choose the file and then new project. In here, you can choose this Java class library. For why? Because we create the library itself. Later we will create the application or the Java file, and then if you want it, you can next and then create new, maybe test or sampling or etc. In here we can use the sampling like this for the name of the Java class library, and then if you want it you can browse where you gonna save it, and then you can click finish to create it. Then we waiting to create it, and then this is the package that the Java class library that we created. So in here first we don't have any test package, and then the library is still GDK10, and then the source package still empty. For the package you can create a new Java package, and then maybe sampling or test, and then we can click finish. So this is the file, this is the package. We don't have the file yet because we only create the package. And then because I want to copy paste this package, maybe you can copy and then go to this and paste, refactor copy, and then copy with refactor, copy with refactor. Okay, and then this is the utils and then the factors in the package test. You can see this is the factors at the package samples. Okay. After that, as you can see, this is the code from Git. So I copy paste another version's code to get testing from this. And then if you want to do the test, because this is have no main class, because this is have no main like this main method, so we can run it. We cannot run it, but we can test it to test the code and then the output itself. So after that, if you want to test this, you can click this Java, and then after that you can go to tools and then create or update test. Okay, you can see this is the class name, is the default class name, and the test packet. We use the framework JUnit test, and then we use the test initializer and finalizer, and then we goes okay. And then as you can see in here, this will be auto generated. Okay. In here, this is the public void public test concat words, and then test computer factorial is from the method that we created, just like concat word, computer factorial, normalis word is auto generated from there. So the netpage itself know what we want to test it, but after that we can see as you can see in here, this is the utils, and then as you can see in the test util, there is like before all, after all, before each, and after each. This is a setup class and teardown class, setup and teardown. For the before class is like the test class initializer. So this before all annotation is marked as a method of a test class initialization. So this method will runs only once, and then before all of the method is run in the test case. For example, we like creating a database connection in test analyzer, and then creating a new connection before each test method. You may use this before all initializer, and then after that the test class initializer or the test class finalizer or the after all is the annotation that the this method will run only once too, and then this method will do after all of the methods in the test class is finished. So like the close. And then for the test initializer is for the before each. The before each is test initialization that is not required to run, but if you want to initialize some variable before you run a test, you can initialize method. And for the after each is like the test finalizer. So a test finalizer method is run each after. The test finalizer is same, is not required to test, but if you need to clean up the data that after we do the test case, we can do the tear down. And after that, we can see the test concat, and then from there test computer factorial, test normalized word, you can check it in here. So like what we gonna do in checking. So go to the the sample that we have that I created. So this is the same. This is like the I using this like the system out print to print what the method if this method is run, so what will happen. And then from this I change about the test concat word into hello world check. In this hello world check, as I inserted this. Actually, this is like the example of the testing. So uh, I code it again in here. So I wanna check is it the util test is correct or not. So after that, this is test with timeout. So we do the testing with the timeout at 1000 milliseconds. So if the test is beyond the 1000 1000 millisecond, it will be error. And then this is for the compute factorial. For this compute factorial, and here is because the compute factorial is cannot be negative, we expected the illegal argument of exception. So we like testing if it's the expected is out or not, and then the temporary disabled is will be skipped. So as you can see in here like this. Oh, but before that, before we run the code, maybe will it will come out like the error org hamster not described, or like org unit is cannot be imported or etc. So in here there is the libraries. So the libraries in here we can add the libraries manually, just like if we add the manual libraries, we can right click the libraries and then add the library, and then will pop up like this. It will we choose the JUnit for plane 12, and then we can add the library for use this JUnit, and then we can do the ham crash, because the ham crash is when we did not describe it, it will be error, or we must describe it like extends test case or anything. But it can be that our method that we rename it will not be run test the method that we created, and then we run it, it cannot be tested. So we use the ham crash. It's the same to add, just add the libraries, and then there is a ham crash in here, so just add it. So we try the testing, like to shift fx, and then wait it, and then this is the result. Okay, this is the result, and then the hello world check is passed, and then the test with timeout is passed, because the temporary disabled is ignore, or there is a ignore or skip it, so it will be skip this ignore, it will be the skip, and then this computer test factorial is passed. So the testing will do like this. As you can see in this image, you can see that the before class was run before the other methods. It was, and it only runs once. So the before class only run once, and then as you can see, the before method will do the method, and then to close it we do the after method, but the before method we will do again, and then do this test method 2, and then close it again, before method 2, and then close this method, and then after class method is only runs once to close all the method that we tested. So in here you can see you can just run it again to test in here, so we know what the test is based or not. So that's about the J testing unit. We test the input and then the output of this program, so we can test is the program is run perfectly or not. So that's about the J testing unit, and see you. Thank you.
Thank you for watching and your attention to our video presentation. We hope it is useful and thank you.